How you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out 4 really cool funk grooves. What I just did there at the intro was each one of those grooves just twice through. Hopefully you've been working on your scratching and you can control your hits, keeping your chords nice and tight, and that you're staying really well locked in with the metronome. All of those things really important. So what we're going to be doing is just playing these through nice and slowly, making sure that you've got the motions right, the mechanics right, then talking a little bit about locking these things into the groove. So the very first one. In beat 1, we're playing on the beat and we're playing the last 16th note. So 1 E and A. Okay, with 2 mutes in between. 1 E and A. Beat 2, 2 E and A. All mutes. On beat 3, the same as beat 1. 3 E and A. 4, it's all mutes again. 4 E and A. Okay, so 1 E and A. 2 E and A. 3 E and A. 4 E and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay, really great exercise these, just really concentrating on making sure that it feels nice. Okay, so get your metronome on, tick, tick, whatever speed you feel comfortable with, and just... Now, if you're funking right, if you've got a really good groove on, you're probably going to look like you just smelled something bad, okay? I'm not sure exactly how that works, but every time when you play it, it's like, oh yeah, you know, I really don't understand why that is, but it seems to be the case. It seems a pretty universal kind of a thing. So hopefully, if you're really getting into the groove and you're feeling it's funky, you're going to have that funny face on, right? So you might want to take a selfie and embarrass yourself, but... Now just at the end here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. If you want, every now and again, it can be kind of cool to add that in, just as a little variation. 1 here, 2 and 3 and 4. So locking into the groove as long as you like, usually 4 or 8 bars. 1 here, 2 and 3 and 4. Just down, down, down on 3 and 4. Okay, to really, I'm not sure exactly why, but having those little kind of breaks every few bars, either 4 or 8 bars usually, just makes it kind of feel a little bit more musical, and it'll help you get started and get going, get off it as well. Because as well as playing on a pocket or a particular groove, you're going to have to learn how to move between them anyway at some point. So that could be a nice way to do it. So that's groove 1. Hopefully you're confident with that one. Groove 2, we're going to be playing, on beat 1, we're going to be playing the 2 down strums, so 1 E and A, and on beat 2, we're going to have 2 E and A. Okay, so just playing on the second 16th note, we're going to repeat that for the second half of the bar, so we end up having 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, down, down, up, down, down, up. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E, 4 E and A. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. 1 E and A. Okay, really important that you concentrate on letting it relax. Okay, you've got to get it right first, nice and slow. Might feel a little bit stiffer. You're still counting. You're concentrating on it. But as soon as you get it and the mechanics are right, your body knows what to do. Your brain's kind of figured out what order of electronic signals it has to send to what muscles to activate when in order to get it. Once it knows that, It's just about kind of switching off a little bit and letting it happen, letting the muscles relax and do their thing. You know, you don't want to overthink it. You've got to think about it initially, to the point where it just becomes a reaction, much like changing gears in a car. If you've got a manual car, you know, you have to listen to the engine and you concentrate when you're learning it, but after a bit of practice it just happens by itself. Okay, exercise 3 is a whole bar sequence, and what we're doing really is playing a chord, a hit, and then we've got 2 mutes, okay, except for the last beat where we're playing right on beat 4, and then we've got 3 mutes. So let me put that into context. So we're going 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4 E and up, 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4 E and 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4 E and. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 2 3 1 2 3 4. Okay, don't get confused by it. I'm just showing that it's playing and then it's a couple of mutes. No, hit, then mute, mute each time. That's kind of the pattern that's going on there. So 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4 E and up, 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4. 1 E and up, 2 E and up, 3 E and up, 4. Okay, really solid little groove, this one, quite common. Okay, it's a really nice feeling. It kind of weaves its way with lots of other instruments nicely as well. So give that one a little bit of an idea, you know, bit of a push. Note as well that we're doing hell of a lot of scratching actually in all of these. We're playing a scratch. If we're not playing a hit, we're playing a scratch. Now that can be a little bit overwhelming, and most times in a song you don't want to be scratching all of the way through, because it just gets a little bit too kind of full. It's too much space in the track, because you want to leave space for other instruments to be playing some stuff as well, and it gets a little bit relentless. There's a great example, a band called The Meters, a song called O Calcutta, and early in the song there's a lot of scratching in it, and you can, it sounds cool, I love it, I love The Meters, but later in the song they change the groove and he's not scratching so much, and you can really hear the song kind of opens up at that point. It has a lot more space and you can kind of hear the clarity of the groove becomes a little bit, well, it's not better, it's just different, but just be aware that you don't want to be doing this scratching stuff all the time. This is an exercise. We're learning about placing the hits within the scratch. Very soon we're going to be looking at keeping the hand moving still, but without having to scratch all the time, because it just can get a little bit overpowering. Okay, so the last groove we're going to look at, number 4, is this. Okay, really fun groove, this one. This one, on beat 1 we're playing the first and last 16th note, so 1 E and A. On beat 2 we're playing the middle 2 16th notes, so 2 E and A. Okay, so it might feel a little bit weird, that one. And then on beat 3 we're playing the 3 and the and, so 3 E and A, and 4 E and A is all mute. So nice and slowly. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and again. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 and 4. 1 E and A, 2 E and 3 and 4. 1 E and A, 2 E and 3 and 4. I was putting one accidentally then on beat 4. You can put the extra on beat 4 if you want, but the way I've structured that particular groove doesn't have anything on beat 4, but you can. Which leads us very nicely to the last exercise that I'd like you to try, which is making up some of your own patterns. So if you just write down 4 groups of 16th notes, so 16 scratches, and then try circling some where you're going to put your chord down. And it can be any order that you like, but be warned that you don't want to start too complicated. You want to have more scratches than you have notes, especially to start off with, although you can, of course, make it, fancier as you move along. And then practice it really slowly and see if you can make up some of your own grooves. Now, you generally probably want to have something on the beat at some point, unless you want to get into really complicated territory. So having some that are on the beat, maybe on beat 1, when you're starting out, then you probably want to have something like that as a kind of a grounding point, okay? If you go too far off piste and you're just doing all random ones from each one, it'll feel more awkward and be a lot harder to do. It might work still in the right context with the right drums and the right bass. It might be the coolest groove ever known to mankind, but it might not too, you know. So experiment a little bit and see what works for you. What grooves feel nice under your fingers? You know, how do the motions work? What works, what doesn't? Because you're going to find sometimes you'll write out a groove and it just kind of feels awkward, but it can be a really great exercise doing that. You know, you really learn a lot about the style and about how it works. If you wanted to be really super clever, you could have a go at listening to some of your favorite funk records, okay? See if you can figure out what they're doing, what sort of grooves they're doing, because there are loads of songs that you're going to hear this style of playing going on where there's lots of scratches and a few hits in there. So have a listen to them. What are they doing? How are they phrasing that? Is it working with the drums? Is it working with the bass? See if you can have a listen to the way that, particularly in funk, the instruments tend to weave together a little bit. So the drums and the bass be very tightly playing together or separate, sometimes in even more fancy kind of fusiony funk. And then you'll often get the guitar kind of weaving out between that. So it'll be playing sometimes with the bass, sometimes with the drums, sometimes in between. So it's really worth kind of listening out to the way that kind of works if you want to get into funk. Because again, you know, learning to sit in a groove and learning to listen rather with the band, you know, that's a really, really big deal. When you're playing, you shouldn't be just listening to what you're doing. You should be listening to what you're doing in relation to everything else. You know, it's a really, really big deal. Big part of the puzzle is figuring that out and learning to do that instinctively. So hope you have a lot of fun playing these funk grooves, and I'll see you for plenty more very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.